Previously on Describe Your Kill.
You've got me pegged as a flower presser.
He doesn't.
I know what you are.
He's got an air
It's
of
the
a
title of
flower
your sex
presser
tape, isn't it,
about him.
mate? Lupin draws a scroll and begins to cast See the Unseen. Also see incorporeal creatures.
I
corrected it and still said it wrong.
As this huge spike impales your leg, Malachi.
Malachi, are you good? You don't look good right now, bro.
My name is Tarmost Omberon. My wife was Belinda.
Did you say your wife was deaf?
I said she was dead.
Oh, right. That explains why she didn't move around a lot during, and he takes a swing.
You killed my wife, and I will kill you.
Aaron falls to the floor, unconscious and dying.
The footsteps of Archmage Spokepoint echo off the obsidian-clad walls of the Eye of Nethys, his pace and swaggering gait indicative of his incandescent rage. The wizard rounds a corner and ascends a staircase, leading only to a bare wall of smooth black rock. He places his hands upon it and dismisses the abjuration that bars the way to his private chambers. The volcanic glass dissolves to air, revealing the inner sanctum of the Eye's headmaster. Even from the shadows of the room's entrance, he can see her. Madame Dinara Valispar sits behind the Archmage's desk expectantly, a wry smile firmly curled on her lips like a serpent. His barely contained rage explodes at the intrusion. "How dare you, witch!" With blind fury, the Archmage conjures black tendrils to shoot forward from his palm and bind the woman. She utters a word, and in one fluid motion, the writhing tentacles hit a rippling wall of force around the witch, crackling into sparks of broken magic. Undeterred, the Archmage storms in, stopping inches from Valispar's face. "You dare to summon me in my own domain! You intrude upon my chambers. Your flagrant disrespect of this place is an affront to the god of magic to whom you are supposedly sworn. This is not just a school, Dinara. The Eye of Nethys is his most sacred cathedral. We are the window through which the all-seeing will shape Galarian below."
Spare me your lectures, headmaster. The god of magic speaks to no one, least of all you and your tired rabble of librarians.
"Why are you still here, witch? You said this would be your last visit, yet months later you're still here haunting my halls. We allowed you in because I believed you would prepare my son for the quest that has been foretold. Instead, I hear whispers that day after day, all you do is force the boy to draw from your deck of harrow cards." The Archmage spits the words out. Madame Valispar looks unflinchingly into the man's eyes. Beneath his fiery scowls, she sees the truth. He is afraid of her.
Aaron is now suitably prepared for what lies ahead. Each card he has meditated on has only strengthened his connection to the harrow. It's in his blood. Fate has chosen your son, and now he will play his part. Many trials lie ahead, the first of which shall remake him entirely. And it begins today.
The Archmage falters suddenly, concern for his son overriding his anger. "You can't mean it. You can't. He's not ready to leave the Eye. I understand the weight of what he is to do, but he will not last a day out there, not yet."
He will do more than that. He has shown me, through the cards, although he doesn't know it, all that he shall endure and survive.
As she speaks, Madame Valispar conjures images of a young Aaron that dance across the headmaster's desk, bordered by riffling harrow cards.
He will be remade by flame, conquer his foes, and master magic that you never thought possible. I have been waiting for the sign that sets everything in motion. Today, Aaron provided it.
The flickering shapes vanish, and into her hand appears a single Harrow card. She places it face down and slides it over to Archmage Spokepoint.
You are right to fear for him. There is no return from the path your son is about to travel. You may not trust me, but trust your son's place in all this.
Aeron's father collapses into a chair. His skin is now grey and clammy as he absorbs the enormity of the witch's words. He's a child. He can't do this alone.
He will not be alone. The cards foretell he will find strength in others. He will forge bonds of friendship stronger than the family he has lost.
The Archmage barely registers her words. His thoughts are consumed, knowing he will never see his son again. Just tell me one thing. You said he would endure many trials. You said that he's ready. But at what cost? Just what exactly must Aeron lose? The wry smile on Madame Valispar's face has, by now, faded. She turns the Harrow card over. On the desk before the Archmage lays the empty throne. Her lips part to utter a single word.
Everything.
In that moment, Madame Valispar vanishes just as the stone walls explode inwards in a destructive cacophony. A towering column of flame spills in through the gaping hole in the structure's wall, melting the Archmage to bones. A reverberating shake begins to decimate the school as the Eye of Nethys crumbles to a mountain of fire and ash. The panicked screams of countless voices are swiftly silenced as the mighty obsidian sphere folds in on itself into ruins deep inside the Storm Spear caves. Beneath it all, the body of a boy, blackened by ash and seared by burns, raises a hand to the sky. Welcome back to Describe Your King!
And England are European champions! Woo! England are European champions! Yes!
Yes, by the time you hear this, we may well be. Fantastic flashback, Matty. Have a hero point.
Well done,
You might
Matty.
need it tonight.
Thank you.
Ooh, what a dig.
Aside from the second and final flashback from Aeron, we've all gathered here today to wish him well on his way to the rivers of Pharasma.
He'll be in her bosom soon.
That extra hero point. I will remind you that heroic recovery requires you to use all of your hero points if you wish
That's
to
why I'm
use
saving my birthday hero point until next week's session.
Ah, yes, of course. Yes, birthday incoming. How is everyone doing? Good evening.
Good
Very
evening.
good, thank you. Yes,
Very
yes,
good.
yes.
Anybody big football fans here?
I will watch it now and again.
Yeah, I'd probably say so, yeah.
Who's your teams of choice normally in the league?
I'm a Leicester fan.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So,
I support Manchester United.
Oh,
I know.
yeah, never mind.
I was not
My
going to
club-
mention it, but
My club's likely to start the season on minus points, and I still feel better about that than you do.
that's true.
you started the season on minus points.
Yeah, it's financial stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we should work that into the
Let's-
podcast.
yeah.
Minus hero points. Let's
Yeah.
for any kind of flagrant disregard of the rules. Jason, I do need to talk to you about that. Actually, it's funny.
Excellent. Cool.
No, it's
What we got?
just a little one this time. It was on the reloading of the pistol.
Ah, yes.
So something that stuck out to me. Do you require to have a free hand when you reload the pistol?
I took a feat just for this, Craig.
Whoa! Okay.
I
Also,
might be
he
about to-
always has one.
Yeah. Also, I have the juggler, but yeah.
Yes, the juggler was the caveat.
Juggling that bullet, right?
I'd love to see him juggling a gun whilst reloading
it.
Yeah.
Absolute fucking madness.
There's no one as well, because Lupin is he's not a juggler, is he? Like, his whole demeanor, there's no one less suited to the whimsy of juggling.
Yeah, he's one of those lazy jugglers. He just looks so bored when he's doing it, barely catching it each time.
He says, I took a feat, and I'm now looking and going, did I take that feat? Yes, I did.
Ammunition. You did, yeah.
Yeah, ammunition, thaumaturgy. You can interact to reload a weapon using the hand holding your implement.
Oh, okay, so the hand that's holding the mirror can then reload the pistol without any treatment.
Basically.
Oh, nice. And you've got the juggler card. Cool.
Nice try. Come back at me next time.
Just to keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
And to distract you from the England match that we're about to lose. I put both in there so I can now edit it and I will be correct. Oh, boys. I mean, any thoughts on last week's combat? Matty, how are you feeling about it?
Well, I would just like to share a little excerpt from the group chat from Craig. First message from Chris says, "What's the plan, lads? Not gonna lie, I got not a lot of stuff left in terms of spells. I'm thinking a bit of time to reason." And then Kimon came back saying, "We did kill his wife."
I'm just trying to keep it real, guys.
Are they the only messages? Did that end the discussion?
No, there was a thread back and forth there, and then it did. Chris, you did also then say, "Why don't we offer them money? That's what they're after. They are mercenaries after all." And I think the retort is, "We did kill his wife."
Yeah.
And I heavily implied that I also defiled her corpse. So.
Yes, also.
You did. Why the fuck you would do that? But
and not only that, kept a lock of her hair in between your buttocks.
As a party, I don't think we want to be known for for this.
I mean, if you're going to say it like that, of course it sounds bad.
Yeah. It's all in the intonation, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
I hope you're happy you said that now, Lupin. Now we have to kill them.
So here we are. Welcome back to Describe Your Kill, the Death of Destiny, episode 37. Can you believe it? I know.
37.
30s.
We now have more episodes than I have fingers.
Just now.
The Omberon family tree might well. I'm not going to recap too heavily, but just as a quick reminder, we obviously got some juicy treasure, including the Giote feather, which Wilhelm has. 3-way rollies. I think maybe the first one for an item in that hidden chamber, clearly untouched for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and also finding some Thessalonian-related text that you were unable to decipher. You then pushed further into the Storval stairs and found this room with the dark crystals and stars and constellations on the floor and the ceilings in there. Very magical place. Wilhelm went in completely blind using the silent hag, and as everyone followed, you were hearing strange noises coming from the mess hall. Lupin barricaded the door with a chair. You stepped in. A blind Wilhelm and Aaron trigger the trap, and you guys take absolutely huge damage. Aaron, I think, went down to dying after that.
Yeah.
You do manage to heal up, but as we know, you guys are not the best healing-rich party. Life Sense detected the 4 guards through the door, went through, and of course, combat began because one of the mercenaries, turns out, is the husband of the late Belinda Omberon. Fighting alongside Carbelda Omberon, who is either Timost's brother or cousin. It wasn't fully established, maybe both. Of course, the most painful thing, the main takeaway, of course, is that Aaron is dying too.
I am.
How's the rest of you with hit points? Let's start with Lupin. How many have you got left?
I'm actually in pretty good shape. 128 of 164.
Okay, not full by any stretch. Malachi, how many have you got?
56 of 164.
So about a third less, maybe. And
Yes.
Wilhelm?
I'm at 49 out of 164.
Oh dear. There are still 4 enemies left. I will remind you that Timost is near Deth. Death's door, you might say. The other combatants are reasonably healthy. Should we do this, boys? You ready to play some Pathfinder?
Yeah, let's go.
I don't know if I'm ready, but sure.
My teeth are chattering like a nervous whippet.
Oh, let's not whip it.
Okay, let's get the music going. We're going to need something intense here, I reckon. Battle music.
Sunshine, lollipop.
Stop doing Malachi's job for him.
What, healing?
Oh, that was good. All right. Here we go. Aaron, you fall to dying 2, and just as a reminder, that's because you were critically hit by Carbelda, who is just 5 feet away from you, with the halberd, who cast True Strike for a first action and whacked you very hard for the second, meaning Carbelda still has 1 action left. Wilhelm's right next to her. So, with her second attack penalty, is going to take a swing. Oh my god! That is a natural 20.
Of course it is.
Fucking hell.
Fucking, of
Because
course it
fuck
is.
not, right? Fuck me, man. Fuck me.
Oh my god!
That is a 37 total. That is
Yeah.
a crit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a crit.
This is gonna suck.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't the plan. All right, Wilhelm. Here's your critical damage. Oh, that's really high.
Wilhelm's down.
58
Jesus
points of damage.
Fuck.
This isn't great.
As Wilhelm goes down, he with his free hand tries to reach toward Aaron's dying body and falls to the ground unconscious.
Okay. Cool.
We got this. We got this.
First dice, natural 20.
Craig's like, Pride Month's over, motherfuckers.
You hear Wilhelm in your ear. I told you. I told you he'd get you. Right, so just a question. If an NPC takes down 2 PCs in a single turn, which Carbelda has done, who would move? I guess it would be Aaron in the initiative order, would move before Carbelda, and then Wilhelm would move before Carbelda.
Yeah,
Again.
so
Yeah,
Wilhelm
so it'd
would
be
be
Aaron,
after Aaron.
Wilhelm, then Carbelda, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the end of Carbelda's turn. Wilhelm goes down to dying 2. Aaron is at dying 2. And it's Orbenth's turn, one of the mercenaries nearest to Malachi. Orbenth has the longsword drawn, will step up to Malachi and swing with the longsword with a 31 to hit.
That's a mess.
Okay, and we'll take a second swing with a 26 to hit.
We'll also miss.
Oh, God.
Malachi, who is outside of the main chamber still.
Hiding in the corner.
It's the top of round 2. It's Timost Omberon's turn. And he's very heavily wounded and calls out to Carbelda. Says, Carbelda, I don't think I'll see out this fight, but you fought so valiantly. Belinda would be so proud of you. She loved you like a brother. And a cousin. We all did.
Distance brother.
I'm not sure I'll see out this round, but please, allow me to live a bit longer so I might see their demise, or at least give them to our death.
It has to be at least 3 actions now.
You see Timost draw a healing potion from his belt for 1 action.
And administer it to Aaron.
As a reaction, Wilhelm lies dying on the ground.
Pathetic. And drinks to heal for 23 hit points.
Okay.
And when with a final...
You just pour it out on the ground.
Pours it on Wilhelm's leg. Yeah. And then with a final action, swings the halberd round in a desperate attempt to hit Lupin with a 28 to hit.
No, Lupin sees the halberd coming in a sort of big arc and just ducks underneath it.
Whoa. Okay. It's round 3, I think. Oh, Timos has some bleed. Let me just deal with that. So 4 points of bleed. Let me just roll my recovery check. Ooh, 14. So fail.
Good. Miss.
Okay.
Nice.
You never fail those.
Lupin, what are you going to do?
Lupin is going to see the state that Timos is in. He's also going to see the state that Aaron and Wilhelm are in. He's still got his sword cane drawn. He's going to say to Timos, "This looks like we're not far short of stalemate here. Are you sure you want to die here? 'Cause I'm not."
My life stopped when I heard from Absalom that my wife was killed. A mercenary, yes, I am. A cold-blooded murderer, I am not.
And yet you would leave these 2 men here to die? My friend, if every problem is solved with the blood of our enemies, we run the risk of all drowning in it. Surely we've shed enough blood. Would Belinda not want that? Didn't fuck her, by the way.
P.S.
No, this is the first time you've got me there. Nearly standing up out of foot.
That was like the hardest line delivery, followed by that. Oh my god.
I bet her body was generous even in death.
I wouldn't know. The last bit was for comedic effect,
Yes,
as opposed
yes.
to Lupin saying that out loud.
Go ahead and give me a diplomacy roll, Jason, with a +2. Let's just see what
Yep.
happens with that.
1 second. We know I'm famously good at these.
No pressure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's not like we've got 2 players dying on the floor right now. 1 second. Just need to add the modifier. Come on, Lupin. Oh, that's a natural 13 for 41.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Lupin's good at diplomacy. I just don't roll very well with it.
So, despite Timos's anguish and clear rage aimed especially towards Wilhelm, you do see his countenance change slightly. You are still very much in combat, but there is a slight air of hesitation on his face. And you can see that the rest of the mercenaries are looking round kind of expectantly. What do you do?
Lupin will turn to them. We'll place our weapons down. We simply want to proceed onwards. We need to speak to Aradeth. We do not mean you any harm. Enough blood has been spilled today. We've killed countless mercenaries. Hopefully none of the others were your immediate friends or family. Enough people have died today. We have let some of your companions go. We do not kill just to kill. I'm sorry about Belinda, I really am. But she was here to take from us. We were merely defending ourselves, mostly.
I heard from Cassandra and Monica and Rita that the murder was in cold blood. These sounds like the words from a man who is losing a fight.
I dare say, looking at you, you're not in much better shape yourself. This could go either way. I'm not speaking from a position of strength here. I'm speaking from a position that wants to avoid further bloodshed.
Carbelda, what say you? And you see Carbelda look across, stood above the dead bodies, who has just taken down Aaron and Wilhelm to dying 2 each. Cousin, brother.
Lover.
Friend. He makes a valid point. Look at the blood. We're mercenaries, not murderers. We work for coin. Yes, they've come here. Yes, they're trying to take it from us, but surely our Deth wouldn't want this bloodshed too. Timost looks back to you, Lupin, and says, I'll allow you to roll another diplomacy check.
With advantage.
DC 32.
DC 32. Okay.
Give yourself
So-
a +4, Jason, for the...
I get a +4 to this.
Yep, for the fantastic
Okay.
roleplay.
So
This GM right here. This
As long as
GM.
it's not a natural one, right?
basically, I have a +30 to this with everything, with all the various
And a
bonuses,
hero
and
point.
etc. etc. I've just got to not roll a natural 1.
Jason, there's no way on
right?
God's green earth that you can fuck this up.
No.
Absolutely. I'm clicking the
I
button
just want
now,
to tell
guys.
you all, we're all counting on you.
That's two natural ones.
That was an 11 for 41.
Carbelda, Velba, Orbanth, stand down. Belinda might be dead. They might have killed her. But I will not see more lives spilled in my name, in the name of Ombran. Weapons down. You see all of them sheathe their weapons, and Timost stands leaning, bleeding, breathing heavily on his halberd. I will allow you to attend to your friends.
Malachi rushes over to Aaron.
Lupin sort of visibly sags slightly with relief and carefully steps towards Wilhelm and uncorks a greater healing potion and pours it down Wilhelm's throat. 38 points of healing.
Yeah, Malachi rushes over and does the same for Aaron. There's a little glaze in his eyes as what he's seen, and heals Aaron up for 24 points of healing.
How is he doing that?
He rushed over, he uncorked a bottle as well, and poured the potion into his mouth. And also, while he's doing that, in his arms, as he comes to life, he sings a little soothing lullaby in his ear, which we will keep it snappy, and gives him a little bit more to bring him up further for 33 points of healing.
Thank you very much. I also have a feat called Numb to Death. So this basically gives me my level as additional healing points for the first time each day that I recover hit points while dying.
Oh, nice.
And it also means that I don't get the wounded condition.
What's it called?
Oh, nice.
Numb to Death.
You see the guards, whilst you're doing a bit of healing, Carbelda passes a potion, the other two mercenaries. Clearly you're in a training room here, you see them just wiping their swords, talking amongst themselves.
Lupin will, sort of seeing the others are okay, will just sort of step within sort of throwing distance of the one closest to him, and will just toss a level 2 scroll of healing to one of them and just sort of nods. Goodwill. And then steps back.
Jason, have a hero point for some fantastic roleplay there.
Thank you.
I can't believe the diplomacy worked.
There's
You
gonna
lot
be-
look laughing at me in
I
the
know.
chat. Like,
Yes,
come
I
on.
take it all back.
There's going to be some listeners, was that rules as written? I don't know. But does it play into the game? Were Lupin's words strong enough to dissuade that? It was good enough for me.
The
and
drowning
certainly
in
the
bloodline
rolls-
was very cool. I'm very pleased with that, to be fair.
The rolls
Yeah.
were very good. I don't want to pull punches. Had you failed those rolls,
Yeah,
I would have killed you.
yeah, no, absolutely. So I was still very much preparing for a fight there, to be fair. I didn't think I'd get away
I
with
think
it.
you rolled 2 41s there. So
Well, that's it. Is that when I created Lupin, I put a lot of points in diplomacy that could have gone elsewhere. So
Really, I
know.
didn't notice.
maybe that's something we can explore. I'd quite like to explore that in maybe a little
Yeah.
side thing of that particular sort of thing, and maybe once combat breaks out, and combat's obviously meant to be very snappy in these conversations, but I think it's a rollover from first edition where speech is a free action in a combat, but then using diplomacy. And I know there are feats and stuff, but I thought that was.
I would quite happily have. I was expecting that to have cost me actions, to be fair. So I would have been, because intimidate, for example, is an action. So I would have quite happily spent actions there. That felt like a good use of my time as opposed to just swinging.
And as you say, there are times like when you tried to negotiate a couple of episodes ago, you stepped through. Hero pointed into the Nat 1. That leaves us with very few options, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wilhelm is healed for 38 damage, so he's still really looking rough, but he's at least standing, and bloodied as he is, he looks over to the group of mercenaries standing in the corner and looks to Lupin and says, How the fuck did you do that?
The word is mightier than the sword, my friend. Lupin sort of is conveniently holding an arm over a sword wound in his chest.
Aaron, are you not treating wounds? That's not something you can do? I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we had time, because obviously I've just kind of woken up in a daze and just seen all the mercenaries are here but not attacking us. So he's like, what's going on? He whispers to Malachi. Did we win?
Well, we didn't exactly win, no. Lupin seemed to be able to speak and talk him down. He's very smooth with his words, you know that. We're in a training room. We're kind of safe, but not... I don't know where we go from here. We're all either bleeding or, not in the best of ways.
Aaron hears your words, but he notices that Wilhelm is wounded badly. And Wilhelm, you're hurt. Please, let me help you. And he pulls out his healer's tools.
I'm good.
No.
He stumbles a bit backwards and leans against the wall.
No,
and kind of
it's
really
okay.
struggles to stay on his feet.
Just sit down, rest a moment. And I will try to treat wounds on Wilhelm so we can get rid of the wounded condition and just give him some extra healing. 21 points of healing, and you can remove your wounded condition. So I sew up your wounds.
Good.
As Aaron is treating Wilhelm's wounds, one of the mercenaries steps up to Lupin, slightly healthier one, Carbelda, says to you, "You said you needed to reach Aradeth.
We did.
May I ask why?"
We have, and he draws from his pocket one of the...
Steady.
Yeah, very slowly. One of the steel-coloured feather tokens. Everywhere we've been, we've found people, both living and otherwise, carrying these.
Yes.
We followed the trail. It's led us here. And we have the name Aradeth. We need to understand what is happening and why we appear to be on the same path as Aradeth. What that means.
We all have those tokens. See mine here. Look. I didn't catch your name.
Malice. Lupin Malice.
Lupin, Aradeth's chambers are right behind this door here. The men and women are keen to return to their chambers and rest a little. The anticipation of you coming has taken quite a toll. Our supplies here are meagre. We've been waiting, but I'm happy to at least grant you an audience with Aradeth.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And he sort of turns and looks at the sort of still bleeding Aaron and Wilhelm. Yes, I dare say we may need some time to recover ourselves. I dare say we are not in an ideal condition to make a good first impression. Sort of chuckles to himself, slightly humorlessly.
I'll open the door and I'll escort you through to meet Aradeth. A word of advice. She does not suffer liars gently, nor fools. You don't seem to be liars, at least. Just hope you're not fools.
I suspect we may find out soon.
Before anything happens, Wilhelm would kind of hobble over to Malachi, say, "Jesus, man, you don't look so good yourself." And he pulls out a healing potion and offers it to him.
Malachi, as you're doing that, gets out one himself and says, shall we do this arm in arm?
And Lupin turns to Carbelder and says, we shall perhaps need a short period of time to heal some wounds, perhaps half an hour to an hour, just to fix up the worst of the bleeding. I'm sure you will understand. We don't want to be passing out mid conversation.
No, fair enough. Timos, Stolbenth, Velber, make your way back through. I'll meet you in the mess hall. Perhaps there's a bit of supper we can have together. I'll do the introductions.
If I may, I would urge caution. I'm sure you're well aware of the device in the next room.
Aye.
It would appear we were followed. Wish I could be more specific.
Followed.
Yes, is we heard voices coming from the mess hall, and I barricaded the door behind us with a chair, and that, I'm sure you will see very quickly, that chair has been moved. So I would perhaps urge caution.
See Carbelder look over his shoulder, and the two female mercenaries it's clearly ignited something in them. Let me ask you, Lupin, did you trigger the trap?
Lupin sort of points to the massive bandage around Malachi's thigh. Yes, you could say that, yes.
Saw when you came in, your wounds were already grievous.
Yes.
A couple of us learned the correct path through that hole the hard way. The very hard way. They died. That's what I'm trying to say. They died.
It's a hard life.
Right. Okay. Make your heals. Timos, Storbenth, Velber. I'll see you back at the mess hall. And they shuffle past, all in relatively good health. Timos was obviously the most injured, so the two other female mercenaries are kind of helping him through, out through the chamber doors, down the passageway, and out of sight. So just run me through your healings. Hello, beautiful people. Craig here. A very, very quick intervention. I promise this time, as I was editing, there were quite a few minutes of wishy-washy healings and discussions around the best way to heal. So rather than me tell you how that works, I've asked Jason to summarize that for us. And that's it. Back to the show.
So summary really is, so I think Lupin has treated wounds on himself, Malachi, and Aaron. I think Aaron did Malachi himself and Wilhelm, and then Wilhelm's cast Vital Beacon as well, and we've used that between us. So we're in pretty good shape, kind of, now.
Yeah.
Lupin's pretty much full health, nearly.
Not spell-wise.
Yep. So, yeah, we've got no spell slots, but we're at least not at death's door anymore. So with that, okay. Lupin will sort of stand up and just sort of stretch a little bit, just check his coat for any blood stains, and then we'll step forwards.
Yep. We'll try to stand next to Lupin and try to keep Malachi and Aaron behind him.
Carbelder, we are as ready as we are likely to be.
Very well. And Carbelder reaches behind him and opens another one of these massive doors. Before we do that, I do just want to tell you the flavor text for this room. I don't think we did it last week.
Don't think so.
This chamber is obviously a really big one. I think we talked it's 60 by 50 feet. It's really big. 60 feet high, the ceilings, and there's these ragged banners of coloured cloth hanging from the walls, obscuring faded ancient frescoes that appear to depict comets, meteors, and other astronomical phenomena. The room as well stinks of sweat and blood. Weapons on the wall, these are their sparring halls. I just want to give you that bit of flavour. But Carbelder steps up to this door and opens it. You know, like when someone's a bit busy, like your boss, and you kind of you've tried to catch their attention, they've not seen you, so you slowly open the door, stick your head in. Hello. Does so. Opens the door. Steps in, kind of half holding it open. Lady Aradeth. You hear a voice, a muffled voice. Yes.
That's not a voice.
Is she really old?
Lady Aradeth,
and also a crow?
I have 4... I don't know the word. I have 4 fighters, adventurers, nosy parkers that are here. We've been fighting. I'm sure you heard the screams. And again, you hear a muffled voice.
Mostly from Wilhelm.
They've asked for an audience with you. Show them in. He says, yeah, you may come in. And he opens the door, steps aside, and steps into another room beyond this door.
Lupin sort of takes a deep breath, sort of throws his shoulders back, stands up as straight as he possibly can, and tries to look as confident as he possibly can, and steps into the room.
Malachi looks around. Oh, they're all gone. Okay.
What is that?
We'll step into the room. I'll read you the flavor text first. This T-shaped room is lined with bookshelves, but rather than books, the shelves are instead filled with rows upon rows of narrow plates of stone or steel, stacked atop each other in messy piles. A table in the middle of the room holds stacks of these tablets, along with several notebooks and writing implements. Also in the room, Carbelda has stepped in next to this desk. There is an animal that looks a bit like this, curled up next to the desk. Matty, would you like to describe?
It looks like a furry.
Yes. Yes,
like it's a
it
really,
does, yeah.
it looks like an anthropomorphic tiger/bear type creature with a very big fluffy tail. It's on all 4s, but appears to have like, how many legs? Eight legs.
8 legs. It's if Goro from Mortal Kombat was a furry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like very hench. Yeah. Big kind of tiger's face sort of thing.
Yeah. So there's this animal there. It is small sized, so it's not a medium creature. There's another guard stood at the back of one of these bookshelves. And at the very back of this T-junction is a woman, elderly. You can see her hair is turned grey. Turns to face you and steps forwards. Her face is weathered, but retains soft features and kindly eyes. Carbelda, would you like to introduce these people, or... And then looks at you four and says, would you prefer to introduce yourselves? My name is Aradeth, but I believe you probably already know that. I also, through the tokens of my mercenaries, at least knew you were here, knew you were coming. I was hoping you might have been stopped. Appears that is no longer the case, but please, I have no wish for bloodshed in this room. Let us sit and talk. Carbelda, I assume that they are of no threat. They're of no threat, ma'am, as far as I know. I believe the oldest one speaks true. We fought, but they said they had to have an audience with you. The rest have gone back to the mess hall. So if it's okay with you, ma'am, I'm quite injured. I'd like to join them. Yes, go. Be gone from me. And he disappears. And then the other guard in the room. Oh, Amadeth, you must be careful. Anyone who comes here has killed our own, and not to be trusted. And the little cat-dog thing on the floor kind of growls lightly, but doesn't attack. Yes, Rafflin, be quiet. Look, they've got this far. They must have some power within them and perhaps more knowledge. Please, come in and sit down.
Lupin sort of nods, sort of half nods, half bows, and walks in and takes a seat at the bottom end of the table, the southern end of the table. Lupin Malice.
Lupin Malice, pleased to meet you, our Deth.
Likewise, it's been quite the journey.
Come on, the rest of you, quickly, step in, sit down.
And Aaron also moves in and sits on the table next to Lupin and in between Wilhelm.
Malachi kneels down and tries to pet the animal.
The animal growls at you ferociously and bares its teeth. I would not advise that. And you hear Rafflin, who she said to them, "Leave him alone. He's not friendly to strangers, especially to ones that kill our brothers."
Well, I didn't kill no one. I'm Malachi, famous bard.
She blinks slowly. That remains to be seen. Rafflin, will you please move that damn animal and allow at least the famous bard to sit down?
So you have heard of him.
Calls the dog cat thing over and sits behind.
Thank you for that. I thought he was going to bite my hand off a minute, eh?
He still might. I have come to the conclusion we probably both know of each other, and yet know very little.
I definitely know very little.
I will allow you to lead. You have come here, killed my mercenaries, invaded the Storval Stairs, which we hold, and for what purpose? I am a patient woman. I have not got this far in life with being irrational or impatient. But my wick runs low. I will have the Band of Blades kill you, if required. But perhaps there is a more eloquent way we can resolve this.
And Lupin nods and takes the steel token he's still been holding from earlier and just places it on the table and just sort of meaningfully slides it across to her. Yes, we have been traveling for some time, and we have come across your men in many parts of Galarian. On some occasions you've beaten us to it. In fact, in many occasions you've beaten us to it. In some cases you've been friendly, in others there's been much bloodshed. I suspect, and I've not discussed this with my companions, but I suspect you are seeking the same things we are seeking.
And what is it you might be seeking, Lupin Malice?
Artifacts of tremendous power. Cards, to be specific.
Cards? And what type of cards, Lupin Malice, might you be seeking?
Lupin just sort of tilts his head slightly. Well, I suppose if we're going to sit here, we may as well put our cards on the table, both figuratively and... He reaches into his pocket, places the paladin on the table in front of him. Literally. We are looking for cards, for Harrow cards. Specifically cards from this deck, and he sort of turns it over a couple of times to sort of highlight what it is. I believe, if my suspicions are correct, that you are also seeking these cards. Am I correct?
You hear Rafflin from the back go, "Be careful, Lady Aradeth, they're not to be trusted. Be careful what you give away from them. Look at them, bloodied and beaten."
And yet still here. I'm talking to Aradeth, thank you.
Quiet, Rafflin, quiet. The card you present to me, Lupin, I have not seen before. What you say it comes from a deck? Do you have any idea what this deck might be? You also present one of my tokens, and yes, the Band of Blades do use these tokens for communication with me. This is our base. If there are problems, I hear about it through the feather tokens. Where did you acquire that one?
Lupin sort of looks at the others and then looks back. Sir. I'm afraid, as much as I would like to give you an answer, that's one I don't entirely understand myself. This one has, to the best of my knowledge, always been in my possession, and yet I cannot recall when I first got it. I suspect this is part of the innate magic contained within.
Do all of you hold cards of this nature?
We do. And Aaron pulls his card out too.
Wilhelm nods as he tries to understand why she seems to not know about these cards. And I would like to what's the Pathfinder word for it? Sense motive.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a secret perception check, Wilhelm.
Right. Since we've been conversing with her for I think now over a minute.
Oh, sure.
Would lie to me apply?
I don't know.
That's a skill feat. That says you can use deception instead of perception, basically, to...
Oh, okay.
So kind of, it's like a... I know what a liar is like because I
am a liar.
Yeah.
Sure, but the feat does read. The last line of that feat is, this doesn't apply if you don't have a back and forth dialogue, such as when someone attempts to lie during a long speech. So I think it's if they're trying to deceive you. But do you know what? For now, I'll let you roll it. But still, secretly. What is it you are looking for, Wilhelm?
I would like to see if she's hiding knowledge of these cards and of the deck of destiny.
I will say you can roll that. She's also not really said very much yet at all, right?
Yeah, no, but she said something like, this card I've not seen before, and
okay.
Do you contain these cards? She seems like she doesn't really know what they are. At least that's what
That's the vibe I'm getting as well.
From,
I think she's just letting us speak, which is why I'm sort of happy to...
That's precisely what I'm trying to get at here. Is she feigning ignorance here? Or is she really...
Wilhelm, you go on, Jason, sorry.
I was going to say we've kind of jumped in right before I was going to do we've told you the truth, now it's your turn. Which might give us a little bit more info into that check, perhaps. So,
Kamone, do you want to hold that roll for a second, then?
All right, I'm going to hold that roll, then.
Yeah.
So you all have these cards?
Indeed, yes.
Club Elder said you spoke true, and I also do not detect misinformation, at least, about you. I know that at least 2 of my companions have boasted about discovering similar cards amongst their possessions as well. Endlo, the dwarf, who I believe is now deceased, at your hands.
Not for our attempts to avoid such a conflict.
My accountant, Undede, also has a card in his possession.
What?
Interesting.
He didn't detect magic. He must have left it in his study.
And since we came to the Storval Stairs, I discovered a similar card in my possessions. Rafflin, bring me my bag. He goes to the table behind her and pulls out a little satchel, hands it to her. Now, where is it? Bus pass. Time.
Terrifying cat dog treats.
Mother's originals.
Cool card of a very handsome man. Here it is.
Malachi Bordello single.
Seems our cards match, and she pulls out a card in front of you, and you see that she is holding a card called the Rakshasa from the deck of Destiny.
Interesting.
A card like this. This still does not answer the question why you have a token and believe I am following you. Until you arrived here at the Storval Stairs, I had no inclination as to who you are. And yet you are here.
But your mercenaries have been popping up everywhere. Everywhere we've been going.
My mercenaries?
Yes, brothers of the...
Mercenaries holding this very
mercenaries, yes, of the Band of Blades. And they tried to kill us and steal our cards.
The Band of Blades is a large organisation. Most of my members are here at the Storval Stairs, but we operate across the whole of Avestan and Galarian. I certainly have not sent them. Describe some to me. Perhaps I can find out what is going on here. And she looks around at Rafflin. She goes, do not trust him. We don't know what's happening.
Well, one of them was Belinda. I mean, was she not in your ranks?
Belinda? She was. I believe from Absalom, but lower tier blade. She'd have no interest of Harrow cards. I don't understand.
Her and several other of her ilk intercepted us in a back alley and attempted to specifically asked for the cards.
How long ago was this?
Several weeks. We were attacked by a tiefling who'd followed us.
A tiefling?
Large tiefling with an axe. Possibly, does the name Varnev ring a bell?
You see her eyebrows raise at the name Varnev. Varnev the Butcher?
Yes, one and the same.
Rafflin, I spoke to you about this. It appears that Lord Drustin has been acting on his own volition. Tell me, Varnev, is he alive?
Regrettably not. We were attacked and we defended ourselves with aplomb.
Not alive. Rafflin, I told you that Lord Drustin... Excuse me, 1 second. And she goes back over to the back bench and is riffling through her records. She steps back forwards and says, our organization is already hanging by a thread. I can assure you that Varnev the Butcher's actions were not authorized by me.
I'm sure you will understand that it would be naive of us to take this entirely at face value. I'm not claiming I disbelieve you, but a lady as savvy as yourself would understand that it would be a very, very easy thing to deny and a very, very difficult thing to prove.
I agree, Lupin, but here you are in my chambers alive, having killed my men and women. I am telling you, Varnev the Butcher did not act under my authority.
And Lupin nods. It would appear we have little option at this point but to accept it. With that being said, under whose authority did he act? How would what would appear to be a low-ranking lieutenant have knowledge of such powerful artifacts and the ability to locate us?
You mentioned someone named Drustin. This is not the first time we've heard of him. Can you tell us anything about him?
Well, you speak more, Wilhelm. Tell me what you know of Lord Drustin.
Honestly, just the name. We have met some members of the Band of Blades after a fight with a giant, and none of them made it past that day, but not by our hands. But one of them mentioned Drustin, but that's all he said. He just said he worked for Drustin.
You see her take a deep breath and sigh. As expected, Lord Drustin once again pursues his own ambitions.
Mercenaries not being loyal? Shock horror.
Quite. Before he left, Drustin asked me, talk to me about some like-minded seekers, rambling on about some extraordinarily powerful artifact. Asked me if he might go on a private mission. He said it would benefit at least the coffers of the Band of Blades.
Aradeth, if I may be direct here, and please do not misunderstand me and take this for a threat.
You may.
If what you are saying is accurate, and what we have seen is similarly accurate, you may be in considerable danger. Others who have held these cards have been killed. Not by us, but by others, by forces we do not entirely understand. If it is not you that is actively seeking those cards, it is entirely possible that if you are in possession of one, your life may be on the line. And if you are reliant entirely on the Band of Blades for your protection, a group which, if you will forgive my bluntness, it is becoming increasingly clear that you do not directly control, you are perhaps more exposed than you realize.
I'll admit, when I found the card in my possession, I was not really aware of why or how it came to be. Although myself and my father were great believers in Araden. My father especially was hurt by his death. Prophecy is an area I have great interest in, and it is why I control the Storval Stairs. The financial benefits are numerous, of course, but the knowledge contained in this room is far more valuable. Cards matching, such as your own and mine. Can you shed any more light upon an artifact that Drustan was looking for? Do these cards perhaps belong to a greater whole?
If you are referring to the Deck of Destiny, which is what I presume these cards belong to, then yes, as we know little of it, other than these cards appear to form part of the entire deck. But is beyond that, I'm afraid our knowledge is limited. Is it possible that this is what is being sought?
I have not heard the phrase the Deck of Destiny before. I've heard many prophecies and phrases related to fate, to destiny. The Deck of Destiny is not one. Are you suggesting that Drustan might be searching for these cards also?
It's just difficult to say with the limited picture we have, but is certainly what little information we do appears to be pointing in that direction, yes.
And may I ask, what is it that you propose being here? What do you propose we do now? I can tell you I've received a bird from Drustan's troop, inferring that they will be back here any time soon, potentially within even the next 24 hours.
If that is true, then you and we may be in considerable danger, if what we believe to be the case is true. If Drustan is indeed seeking these cards, we are in possession of several, you are in possession of several, you and your troop are in possession of several, and we are right here, and they know where we are.
And not only am I in danger, Lupin, but you also are in danger.
Indeed. What's more is, as you may have judged, we are in limited condition to fight. We can defend ourselves in small numbers in skirmishes, but against an entire troop, I'm afraid we are ill-prepared.
She looks at you, Aaron, and says, I can see, Aaron, you look uncomfortable with this discussion. Do you have something you wish to say?
I hadn't expected that the leader of this place would be someone as, well, refined as you. Forgive me, I'm not used to speaking to fancy folk like you, but I'm still trying to put two and two together as to why you would force the Shoanti from this place. And I know it seems like there are bigger things going on here.
The Shoanti are animals. The Storval Stairs is financially beneficial to the Band of Blades. It's not personal. Surely you can appreciate that. We are mercenaries, not murderers.
Yeah,
we are hired.
At that, Wilhelm, you feel like Aaron's fists clench and he tenses very, very firmly. How dare you?
Lupin sort of senses the temperature in the room drop. I dare say the specifics of regional politics may have to wait some time, as I suspect we are in rather more imminent danger. We can perhaps discuss regional matters at a later date.
Perhaps, Lupin, but the facts are clear to me. Drustan, Lord Drustan, as he prefers to be called, is one of my lieutenants. He is returning here to me. Yes, his side ventures, looking for these cards, is deeply concerning. To the point
and yet
where
you possess one of these cards he's seeking.
Yes.
He's already demonstrated that he's working outside of your orders. Do you believe, Aradeth, that he will ask you politely for the card? And Lupin stands up and places his hands on the table.
Would anyone else like to say anything to support that? Because I'm going to get a roll in a second.
Aaron says, yeah!
Yeah, baby.
Wilhelm's eyes dart back and forth between Aradeth and Lupin, and his hand instinctively goes to his rapier's handle, but he doesn't stand up and doesn't draw it yet.
In Malachi's mind, he's replaying the scene of his mum dying, and is kind of glazed over with it, but is just biting his tongue, really.
Aaron, also seeing Lupin stand to his feet, says, "Look, we are just 4 adventurers. We came here, and you're a far greater force than us in number. And yet we've made it here to your desk. How do you think Drustan will react when he comes here and sees you in a weakened position? We've seen him kill for these cards. He's tried to kill us on numerous occasions with his force that are loyal to him."
Rafflin, a word. She steps backwards, and you hear them very quietly conversing. Voices become slightly raised. Steps back. "I have heard what you have to say, and I do not dispute that perhaps the danger has increased due to these cards. It can be no mere coincidence. We all carry them. I would like Jason to roll either a diplomacy or an intimidation check. And you can have a +3 from the
Thank you kindly.
roleplays and the others.
Okay.
Come on.
All right. Rolling. Ooh, that's a natural 9 for 38.
DC 37. Although it pains me, what is it that you suggest, Lupin? Is it you wish me to leave my base of operations, the Storval Stairs? Or is it that you wish to join forces and await the return of Lord Drustan? I will not lie to you, I do feel a certain apprehension of his return.
I will be honest, I would leave the tactical details of how you wish to approach your relationship with Drustan to you. We will assist if you request it. But more immediately, I need to understand that we have each other's best interest at heart. I believe I've been extremely clear in relaying the danger which is posed to you and us by these cards. As I understand it, our options are either we remove ourselves or we remove the cards from the equation. However, I dare say, without the cards, Drustan may simply kill us anyway.
So an alliance, temporary? Is that your suggestion?
If you would have it.
Or you could leave your cards in our safe possession and leave the stairs forever.
Lord Druston has been a thorn in my side for many months. I won't lie, he is a useful tool. After he left his native Cheliax, he has associated himself with several powerful allies, not directly under my control, but with him under my control. There are many fights that can be easily won when you associate yourself with devils.
Indeed. I am a practical man, and I understand the realities of business and life, where regardless of whether I agree with them. However, my argument would be is that holding a tiger by the tail is a dangerous game to play.
I cannot tell you when Druston will return, apart from the fact he has written to say he is returning. There is much knowledge in this chamber. You've seen the statues? Well, in fact, you have. One of them, I believe, is destroyed.
Yes, I'm not entirely sure how that happened.
There is another entrance into the Storval stairs. These tablets on my desk, I have spent many weeks researching, translating the Thessalonian texts. The two statues contain great power, if you know how to activate them. There is also another entrance to the Storval stairs that lies to the north. It resides 200 feet above the ground, treacherous cliffs and rocks at its base. Inside, it is my understanding from these tablets that if you are able to get past the trap, able to get past a very thin barrier between the material plane and Leng, you will find some crystals protected by the Shining Gardeners. I have not ventured there myself, but through my research, it's my understanding that the statues, or should I say statue, can be used as very powerful weapons against any attackers that approach the Storval stairs.
This is indeed extremely valuable knowledge, and Lupin is furiously jotting this down in a notebook. And if I may be so, bold, what of you? What are your plans when they arrive?
I may appear old, but I am also powerful. I am a trained magus. I know many spells. I will prepare the remaining band of blades for the oncoming onslaught, if what you say is true of Lord Druston. As I said to you, I cannot guarantee how long that will be. You may or may not have time to rest. You may or may not have time to try and activate the statue of Karzug. But I will try. And she offers her hand out to you, Lupin says, for now, a humble alliance. If what you say is true, and Lord Drustin returns to attack and take these cards from us, I will aid you in battle. If you are lying, we will kill you all.
And Lupin looks at the others, sort of trying to pick up on whether there are any sort of strong cues either way, other than sort of Aaron, who is, I'm presuming, is sitting there simmering, about to go into a barbarian rage. And Lupin will take the hand and shake it. This is perhaps not an alliance I would have chosen, and I'm sure that is the same for you. Perhaps once this is done, there are more discussions to be had, but let us face the problems in front of us first.
Aaron doesn't speak up. Like, he knows that he's going to have to pick his battles on this, and that we've just got to see it out. So he just sits in silent agreement, but yeah, he's pretty fuming.
Wilhelm?
Kind of the same boat as Aaron. He knows that this is kind of the only option they have, so he doesn't say anything really.
What's going through Malachi's mind?
Yeah, similar to Aaron, I think that, we've been in danger and looking over our backs, and this is possibly, I'd say, one of the first times that we've had somebody on our side. He's also thinking that, a little bit scared actually, that as if, we haven't lied, if Justin comes back and he doesn't decide to kill, he's a little bit scared that actually, even though we haven't really lied, that it will be construed as a lie. But doesn't say anything.
And as she extends her hand to you, Lupin, my advice would be to either rest or try and unlock the power of the statues. If we defeat Drustin, I will give you the Rakshasa card, and I will vacate the Storval stairs so that the Shawanti might return. Do you accept my terms?
Lupin sort of looks at Aaron.
Aaron nods.
Indeed, yes. Your terms are more than fair.
And as your hands touch, Lupin, as you seal the tentative agreement between yourselves, as you shake on it, Rafflin behind you screams out in an unearthly voice and says, I told you not to trust them! As magical energy flows out from his fingers in a beam towards Aradeth herself as the curtain comes down!
Oh, God! Double agent!
This is good. This is good. Ooh.
Jesus.
You've been listening to Describe Your Kill, The Death of Destiny. Find out more at describeyourkill.com. Thank you to Paizo, Michael Gelfi, Creator Chord, Sirenscape, Kevin McLeod, Foundry, and Sigil Services. Get all the links on our website. This podcast uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's community use policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. This podcast is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com.